Judee Sill lived a different life before she ever stepped into a studio. Judee was born in 1944 in California. By her mid-teens, she'd run away. They're an image I always come back to. A girl in a denim jacket, hitchhiking down some forgotten stretch of Route 66. She was barely 16, but already chasing something that looked a lot like freedom and felt a lot like danger. Somewhere between jail and the juvenile home, Judee found music. She attended a reform school, where there was a chapel. She learned to play gospel, trying to reconcile heaven and earth, long before she ever had the words for it. When she got out, Los Angeles was changing. The streets were full of people trying to find themselves, in songs, in drugs, in whatever passed for love that week. Folk music had become the language of that search, and Judee slipped into it almost naturally. She started writing songs for other people, including one for the Turtles, the same group who sang Happy together. But her own music was too strange, too ornate for the radio. It wasn't protest music, or love songs, or anything that fit neatly on a label. Her first album, Judee Sill, came out in 1971. It opens with Crayon Angels.
Nothing's happened, but I think it will soon. So I sit here waiting for God and a train to the astral plane.
Her songs were never just hopeful. Every time she reached for light, there was a shadow behind it. Her voice trembled between faith and fear. The world wasn't ready for songs about God and redemption sung by a woman who'd spent time behind bars. Her second record, Heart Food, was a masterpiece, but by then, she had already been slipping back into addiction. She once said her songs were like little prayers, but maybe they were more like confessions. Fragile, whispered things left behind for anyone who cared enough to listen. By 1973, she had what every artist was supposed to want: a record deal, critical praise, and even a small cult of musicians who swore she was the real thing. Still, she was writing, and what she wrote would become heart food. Judee wasn't interested in writing hits anymore, if she ever really was. The song Kiss may be her most haunting. She wrote it after breaking free from one of the worst periods of her addiction. You can hear it in the way she sings.
Then a new song was sung until somewhere we breathed as one.
It's not a love song in that romantic sense. It's about surrender, about the way you can lose everything and still somehow feel lifted by something unseen. On the record, you can feel her wrestling with God, the way someone argues with a parent they love but no longer trust. The arrangements are lush, strings, choirs, even her own multi-tracked harmonies. But underneath all that beauty, there's tension, the sound of someone reaching for heaven while earth keeps pulling her down. She recorded much of Heart Food while dealing with constant pain from a car accident that gave her chronic injuries. The doctors gave her painkillers, and once again, she began slipping into dependence. The album came out to critical acclaim, but almost no sales. Her record company moved on, chasing newer, easier names. Judee sent out letters to friends, to critics, to anyone who'd listen, begging for support, promising new songs, but the industry had already forgotten her. That's what makes Heart Food feel timeless now, because it still resonates with people who find it decades later. The closing track, The Donor, is 6 minutes of layered voices, all Judee, all pleading and soaring, and falling again. She knows mercy isn't coming, but she'll ask anyways. When you listen to Heart Food today, it doesn't feel dated. That was her miracle. That in the middle of addiction, obscurity, and pain, she could still create something that sounded like salvation. By the mid-70s, Judee was gone from public life. The radio stopped playing her songs, and the world, as it often does, moved on without her. No one really knew where she was anymore. The last people to see her said she talked about making another record, one that would finally sound the way she'd always wanted. But those songs stayed in notebooks. It's strange how someone who sang so much about salvation could vanish so completely. When she died in 1997, there were unsurprisingly little headlines. The world didn't yet know what it had lost. But that wasn't the full truth either, because Judee's songs didn't die with her. Years later, they started finding their way back, first through collectors, then musicians, then listeners who felt something unshakable in her voice. Judee Sill didn't sing because she had faith. She sang because she needed it. Her melodies became a way to reach out. Listening now, you can hear all of it. The yearning, the defiance, the hunger for transcendence. Her music, fragile and strange, still stands as proof that even broken faith can make something holy.